Watch this video, then we'll talk.
When I turned 18 years old and I went off to college, one of the first things I ever did was request the records of my parents' very messy divorce and the custody records of me. Because I know when people divorce, things can get messy, emotions can cloud your judgment and how you remember things. So I requested the records, and I implore every child of a messy divorce to do the same. Request the records, read them. It may feel like an invasion of privacy, but it affects you too. Especially if you're from one of those divorces where you have to pick a side, really. And I didn't really have to pick a side when I was a little kid, but now it's come apparent that I kind of have to pick a side. And I've always been on my mother's. My mother raised me. My mother's the reason that I was diagnosed with all the rare ass conditions that I have, and she's the reason that I can eat again. She's the reason I can literally walk. Okay? I owe that woman my life. But when I was 18, I requested the records because I know that when you have a messy divorce, sometimes emotions can cloud your judgment and how you remember things. So I went through them with a red pen, and I circled every single time one of my parents lied, because I remember everything from 2 on. So I could remember who lied and who didn't. And I also knew the stories that were told. 15 different people on my mother's side of the family, because I went behind her back and I asked people about the divorce and people who were there, and they all told the same story. So I went through the divorce records, I went through the custody case, I circled it with a red pen. And the amount of times I circled my father was enough to tell me that he lied through his damn teeth. And I think every single child of a messy divorce should do the same, because it was very eye-opening for me to realize my mom was right. My mom was very, very much right, and I don't know how my father's alive, because honestly, I'm shocked my grandpa didn't fucking murder him.
So, first of all, yes, to everything that she said. To everything that she said. And please, parents, people that are in this, that are like, ooh, I'm feeling inspired. This is for the children, which also includes adult children. This is for the children when it becomes age appropriate. Don't go showing your 7-year-old your potty training princess the details of your messy divorce. They're still figuring out how to count. Also, this is not as vindication for you as a parent. This is so that way your child, especially when they are in a space where, like the speaker said, where they're like, it's reached a point where now I kind of have to pick a side. This is so that way they have the full truth of the situation that they are currently navigating, so that way they could best understand their present, so that way their past makes sense and they can accordingly make moves toward their best future possible. What does all that mean? They need to see the honest person of who their parent is. Not for you to be like, I told you and this and oh, I feel so justified. And your feelings are your feelings. Those are not supposed to be put onto your child. This is for that child to have a full understanding of the reality, of the truth of who their parent is. I'm going to talk a little bit about the moment that I realized that my mom was a person. Which, I think a lot of people have this experience at different points in their life where, your mom is just mom. What's her last name? She doesn't have one. Her name is Mom. And then all of a sudden, something happens, whether it's a couple synapses or they do something, and you go, oh, my mom's a person. She was a person before I came here. Oh, she has hobbies. She had hobbies. Oh my God, she was a teenager. What do you mean? Me learning about the kind of teenager that my mom was, about who, and the older that I get, the more that she is not, that she's open to sharing with me, and that I am able to understand about who she was in the moment that she, when she was a kid, when she was a teenager, when she was going to college, when she met my dad, the headspace she was in when she met my dad, what pregnancy was like for her, not just the navigating of my dad's family and my mom's family, but also what that experience was like for her as a woman, what motherhood was like for her as a woman with those experiences, what single motherhood was like for her as a woman, what it was like, all of these different life stages. It's helpful to me to understand these things, so that way I could know, one, is this a pattern that I am in intentionally or accidentally making my way through? Is this a good pattern? What is the result of this? What is, like, with mom being in that space and then this being her present and she's further along than me, what would that look like for me? And these are the positive sides, right? But this can also show up in the negative sides. If you have a parent that's a consistent liar, like the speaker was talking about, if you have a parent that's a consistent cheater, if you have a parent that is a gaslighter, and you're trying to figure out what is truth, where is the ground, if you are confused, if you were lost, if you were told multiple conflicting stories, and you're just trying to figure out what happened, just so you could have your feet on the ground, this 10 out of 10 recommendation. Oh, and a lot of children, especially boys and men, especially the boys and men of divorce, need to look at the reality of who their father is and was through the impartial eyes of the law. The law does not pick a side. The law does not necessarily, I mean, yes, there are biases because this is a very problematic system, but at this point, you don't get more impartial than a stranger that studied a whole bunch of stuff, listening to two people share their sides of the story and be like, oh, okay, they have nothing to hide from me. In the same way that I get to humanize my mom and realize that all of her experiences create this very nuanced person, a lot of people need to have that kind of, especially little boys and men that idealize their dad. Oh, well, he wouldn't have left if you didn't. Oh, well, he was definitely this kind of person. Oh, he just creating this storybook idea of this man. They need to read what he said. They need to see and read and picture how he treated you. They need to see the truth of who that man was and potentially who he is today. This would stop a lot of the mom blaming, of the single mom bashing, of the he would have been here if you didn't, and the, oh wait, what else did I write in here? And the, oh, you didn't fight for me, or he fought for me and he would have did it. That would clear up everything. Because actions from the person that is idealized, from the knight in shining armor that is dad, that would get cleared up and you wouldn't have to say a word. Now, this would imply that the children can read. This would imply that the men can read. And unfortunately, a lot of men can't read. And it's not just the reading. It's the being able to, like, not just reading the words off of a page, but being able to create critical thoughts and realize, oh, this is a flawed narrator. This is an unreliable narrator. Oh, this is an untruth. There's a lot of, the educational system has failed a lot of us, and George W. Bush should be held accountable for his crimes. Now, I will encourage that once you see who he is, take inventory of your actions. Young men, hear me. Listen, are there a lot of young men that follow this page? No, thank God. And if you happen to be in community with young men who would be affected by this kind of conversation, that are the children of divorce, adult or younger, but once again, within an appropriate age, have this conversation with them so that way they can take inventory of their father's actions and compare them to the inventory of their own actions and see how close or far they are from each other. Are you repeating a pre-established cycle? And if so, is that a good cycle and one that you want to continue, or is it not? Who are you? And this is not so that way you can turn back time, but so that way you can make better choices. Because you have because you have more information available to you currently and historically to understand how you got here. You, not your parents, how you got here. You can call people out. You can learn to make boundaries. And if you know how to make boundaries, you can establish those boundaries. You can apologize to the people that need apologies. And then you can notice patterns. And then you could stop cycles. There's so many actions that can be done to create a better present and potential future for you if you have that information and you're able to look at it objectively. by humanizing both of those people. And by humanizing, I don't necessarily mean, oh, well, like, I understand where he came from, and, you know, this is going to lead to forgiveness, and, like, not necessarily. Just know, like, sometimes there are bad people. Sometimes there are bad humans. And sometimes those like, there are good humans that make, like, occasional bad decisions, but also you exist. Like, it's somebody, you were created. Two people created you, and sometimes one of those people, or both of those people, are not good people. And that's a reality sometimes. I was gonna say that's okay, but it's not. A lot of people are out here having kids, and they really should not be having kids. But we're here now. We're here now. What are we gonna do except make the most of what we have with the information that we have? So getting more information will only benefit you and the people that you gather around in the future. But hey, these are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Okay? Talk to you later. Bye.